Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at Temporal Forces and have a look at what we know. And the good news is, we actually know a lot at this stage. Like, really a lot. And part of the reason for this is because Temporal Forces doesn't have a mini set. So if we take, for instance, Paradox Rift, the last main set that we had, Paradigm Fates is not a main set, that was made up of a double set over in Japan, Future Flash and Ancient Raw, but it was also made up of the mini set Raging Surf, and that's where things do get a little bit confusing. But remember, the only mini set that Japan had was Shiny Treasures EX, which has come over here as Paldean Fates, so is not going to be part of Temporal Forces. What that means is, it's not exactly, let's be perfectly clear, it is not exactly the case that we're just kind of taking the Japanese double set and printing it in English and calling it a day. As I'm going to explain, there are some additions and all of that. But we're not a million miles away from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the press release, and we're going to have a look at what we were promised in the press release, and we're going to see exactly what about that we actually know. Now, the easy one here is the ace specs. Not only were we told that there were going to be 7 ace specs, but it was actually confirmed, I believe, that there were going to be 6 item cards and 1 special energy. I might be making that up, but I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. Either way, it is going to be 6, trainer cards, because tools aren't items now, and 1 special energy. And we know that because, the first 6 are nice and easy, because the first 6 were just in the double set over in Japan. So if we have a look at Cyber Judge, there were 3 that were contained within. Now, we got Prime Catcher, which we have actually had revealed in a European language as well. This is by far the best one. This is just gusting. This is just grab a Pokemon on the bench, bring it to the active. It's the best one by a mile. It is going to be the default for an awful lot of people. We've got Reboot Bot, which lets you attach a basic energy from your discard pile to each of your future Pokemon in play. That's accelerating up to 6 energy. That's clearly ridiculous. And then we've also got ourselves Hero's Mantle, which just gives an extra 100 HP. Just a flat extra 100 HP. Cool. It's fine. And those are the 3 that we got in Cyber Judge. And we know that they're all coming. They kind of have to be coming. This all makes perfect sense to me. We then move over to Wild Force, and we have another 3 ace specs. We've got ourselves Maximum Belt, which is nominally, seemingly the best one in that set, at least going by Japanese prices. It's a tool that lets you do an extra 50 to your opponent's active Pokemon EX. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's fine. We've then also got our ancient one, Drum of Awakening, because there's a future one in Cyber Judge. Be weird if we didn't have an ancient one here. Just lets you draw a card for each of your ancient Pokemon in play. Might legit play that in my ancient decks, you know. And then Neo Superior Energy, this is the lone energy here. While attached to a Pokemon, it provides 1 colourless energy. But if it's attached to a Stage 2 evolution, it's 2 of any energy instead. Basically, on a Stage 2, it's any 2 energy. Yes, that does include Stage 2 EXs. Prime Catcher is going to kind of ruin it. Now, we know that Master Ball is going to be the 7th, and there's 2 reasons why we know this. Firstly, we know this because it's actually been revealed in a European language. So we've had that revealed, job's a good un. But secondly, there is only one other ace spec that they've had in Japan. It was in the Miraidon EX box. And it was in the Koraidon EX box for what it's worth. And for that reason, we can be extremely confident, like proper job over the top confident, that actually, that's coming in this set. Okay, cool. Brilliant. It kind of has to, right? Kind of has to be that one. And I do mean it has to be that one. There is no other. Those are the only 7. And of course, don't forget that Master Ball just lets you search for any Pokemon. A fine card, but not really good enough as an A-Spec. We actually had this as an A-Spec last time. It wasn't good enough then either. So there are the A-Specs, they're quite easy. And actually, to be fair, when it comes to the Tera EXs, they're pretty easy as well, because the press release tells us there are going to be 2 Tera Pokémon EX. And there are only 2 Tera Pokémon EX that can be found in the Japanese set. It's a double set, like I told you, and both of the sets, so to speak, have 1 Tera EX. It's Wugtrio and Farigiraf. And we've actually had a European language reveal of Farigiraf as well. Where we've got them, I will of course show them to you. And this makes perfect sense. This makes me very happy. So cool. We're getting Farigiraf. We're getting Wugtrio. If you're happy about this, fantastic. If you're not happy about this, gutted. There's nothing you can do about it. They are coming. They are confirmed. It is happening. So this is one of those, you can be upset about it if you like, jobs, but it doesn't really matter. Nobody really cares what you think. Not trying to be rude about this. It's just, you know, it's already confirmed. It's already coming. It's already happening. Now, we don't have time in this video to do a full analysis breakdown of all of these EXs we are going to be getting. That one seems, shall we say, well, not exactly the easiest thing to do, but, you know, Farigiraf EX has got an ability that prevents all damage done by basic Pokemon EX, so there is definitely something that can be done there in terms of doing a bit of blocking and having a little bit of fun with that. And then Wugtrio EX lets you, I mean, the best thing is discarding up to 3 energy from your hand, and then choosing one of your opponent's Pokemon and dealing 60 damage to that Pokemon for each energy you discarded in this way. They're fine, they're not terrible, but they're nothing terribly special. And then we get to the normal EXs, and we know that there are 13 normal EXs. Cool. And I think I can say 12 of them with pretty good certainty. So over in Cyber Judge, we of course have the trio of Iron Crown, Iron Leaves, and Iron Boulder. It would be weird if they weren't coming. They're on the booster pack art. Let's face it, we know they're coming. Iron Leaves has a nice little ability that when you play it from your hand to your bench, you can switch where you're active and move any energy you want over to it. So it works as a really nice surprise attacker. Iron Crown has got that ridiculous ability that adds 20 damage to your future Pokemon's attacks. And yes, it does stack if you want to use multiple. And Iron Boulder, I don't know, 2 energy, 60, but if it takes damage from an attack during your opponent's next turn, you put 8 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. It's clearly the worst of them, alright? And this is backed up by the value in Japan and all of that. I just love me some Terrakion. And then over in Wild Force, we have a similar trio. We have got the trio of Walking Wake, Gouging Fire, and Raging Bolt. And we can expect to be getting all 3 of those. Walking Wake has got an ability that says damage from its attacks are not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. Can be really good for going through anything you need. Gouging Fire is just a free energy 260, but because of all the energy acceleration in Ancient decks, it actually gets up to their potentially turn 1 going second, which is nuts. It can't attack again with that attack until you leave the active spot, but that's really not a big deal. And then Raging Bolt's my favourite. You can either, for a single energy, discard your hand and draw 6, or you can discard any amount of basic from all of your Pokemon in play, dealing 70 for each one discarded. Huge potential. So those 2 trios are nice and easy. We've then got another pair of EXs in each of the Japanese sets, and some of them have actually gone and been revealed in English as well. So we've got Torterra EX. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like Torterra EX. Single energy, 30 damage for each of your grass Pokemon in play, but 180 for a single energy on a stage 2 is just not doing it for me. I'm sorry. I don't think it's good enough. Feel free to argue with me about that, I just don't. And then we've also got Gengar. Whenever your opponent attaches an energy from the hand to one of their Pokemon, you put 2 damage counters on them. It's nice, we've seen this ability over and over again in the past, but it's rarely actually been particularly good, at least not since like Gen 4. Now, over in, they were the ones from Wild Force. In Cyber Judge, we have another couple. We've got Incineroar EX, and I love Incineroar, but basically attacks used by this Pokemon cost 1 less for each of your opponent's bench, And then if they've got 4 bench, single energy, 240 plus burn, there's got to be some potential for that one. It's certainly one I'm going to be playing with. And then we got Sizzle EX, which it can do 240 if you discard 2 metal from this Pokemon. Or 2 energy Sevi and it takes 50 less next turn. It's not particularly good, I will be honest with you. But that brings us up to 10. 5 in each Japanese set. That leaves us with 3 remaining. But 2 of them I feel very confident about. I told you that the Koraidon and Miraidon EX decks were bringing Master Ball, which is confirmed for this set. So although it's not confirmed, I would be absolutely stunned at this stage if we didn't have those 2 EXs in this set. This is not confirmed, but this would be a huge upset as far as I'm concerned if they weren't featured in there, so yeah. We've got the Koraidon that does 20 damage plus 10 for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Bearing in mind it's got 230 HP, no weakness, and can use Ancient Booster Energy Capsule to get an extra 60 and remove special conditions. And then you've got Miraidon, which does, 160 against an already damaged Pokemon. Which is alright. It's not too bad. But I do think both of those are coming. Which, of course, leads to the obvious question then of, well, hang on a second, Wassy, what about EX number 13? And this is the one I don't know. But I can tell you it's one of 3. As far as I'm concerned, it's pretty much guaranteed to either be Flamigo EX, Scovillain EX, or Garganacl EX. I can't tell you which one of those it is, but I can tell you it is almost certainly going to be one of them. And the reason simply is they're the only ones left. That's it. They are the only EXs that have been released in Japan that haven't made their way over here. We know that these promos often end up in EX boxes. Mabastiff was a similar kind of thing that was a promo in Japan, which is just now making its way over very soon as an EX box. They don't often make their way into sets, but sometimes they do. Clorf EX was in Obsidian Flames, but started life as a gym promo in Japan, for instance. So I say they usually end up as promos over here. It's not a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. I've just given you an example of one that didn't, that was just in our set normally. For what it's worth, Scovillain is the most likely, because it's the oldest, and Flamigo is the least likely because it's the newest, and generally speaking, we have to wait a few minutes to actually get hold of these EXs, but none of this is guaranteed. I feel extremely confident it's going to be one of the 3, because there is nothing else. If there's anything else, it's a Pokemon we've never heard of, but I'm afraid I can't narrow it down any further than that. I am sorry. But look, I told you all 7 of the A-Specs, I told you both of the Tera EXs, and I told you 12 of the 13 EXs pretty confidently. Come on, that's a lot, right? That's a pretty good job. I think so. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, all kinds of fun things. And of course, get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Uber MX, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.